This is your weekend market recap for Saturday, April 9th, 2022. Let's go. This is Dan Max at EXP Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is my stock, Bitcoin, gold, and silver daily market recaps. Please subscribe if you like what you see. Thank you. This is Dan Max at EXP Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your daily market recap for Saturday, April 9th, 2022. Time keeps flying. As always, start out in the Discord room. Always offering great insight here. If you have any questions about this video, any questions about particular trades you might be in, or just have any questions about what's going on in the markets, again, this is where to come. Also, too, we have all the information for education and studying, all the different side rooms from alerts, daily recaps, all the back to basics, beginner chat, education, volume price analysis, Jesse Livermore, all sorts of stuff. I mean, it really is to your benefit to come in here and check out the Discord room and subscribe. Tons of information to learn how to trade. On that note, let's get into it. As we always, start out with Bitcoin. We said volume at price zone. Hey, Kat, be aware of this area. 45,000. We talked about getting over it, and it just could not get the juice, and it couldn't hold up. And what ultimately happened, it started falling. I know we had the Miami conference for Bitcoin. Imagine that's usually a pump move. I'm not a big fan of this action because it could be a big bull trap. We're not holding this 43,000 level, which was the big volume December low. If that doesn't hold, I mean, you can get anywhere from 37 back to 35,000. Would not be surprised also if we hit 29, 30,000 at some point on a pullback. Again, bullish, bearish Bitcoin. It's not really about the asset to me. It's more just about what it's trading at, how it's trading. So if you have any questions, again, stop by the Discord room. Let's get into the charts, because this is where we've had some interesting action. And just in general, just keeping it simple, I've been somebody who's thinking bonds were a buy. As I tell people, I'm not always right. Please don't follow me blindly. Like, I'm never wrong. I've never advertised that I can't be wrong. I try to trade with probabilities in mind, and I also know that that's just how it is. Interesting action, though, as we get down here. You know, we talked about holding this level. Always said potentially back in our mind, if you check out the monthly, we always could see this 123 to 125 range. It seems very likely we're going to get there at this point. I thought the action here was pretty bullish. You had another hammer, and then we gap down and have another hammer. The hardest part about this trade, I think, from the long term, is at the end of the day, there's buyers. There's definitely buyers stepping in every time at the end of the day. So what does that mean? What I've seen before with typical other trades or commodities, whatever. Someone's buying. The market makers are accumulating. They're taking share at the end of the day. The last 5 minutes of the day is usually, or I'd say last 15 to 5 minutes, is usually big boy time where they're making moves. They're putting their money to work. Amateur hours in the first hour, big boys come in at the end. They're clearly buying TLT, covering the short, whatever you want to describe it. Well, on that note, just beware the downside 123s. And this does feel like bottoming action. I just don't know when it will. I mean, keep in mind, as I said, riding the lightning is very difficult for bottoming, because you can see it pop. You can see it kind of hold, pop, retest, pop. Maybe that's what we're going to go into, some pop and then retest. If you were playing this trade, please give yourself time with the inverted yield curve and everything that's going on in the world. Zadala. What do we talk about if we could get over this mid 26s? It could go up a little higher. That action on Friday, I don't really trust it. As I've said, I mean, the trend is your friend. It's currently going higher. I don't know how much upside is left. We've talked about the dollar a lot. We're kind of into this upper zone where I don't really see it getting much stronger, but again, that doesn't mean it can't get up to the 27 area. That is completely in its possibility. So that's that. The VIX, we've talked about the VIX a lot, how it just was oversold. It was going to pop. We had a higher high. Now we're seeing if this is a higher low. The 200-day is key. I mean, I've talked to people regularly about just out and about when I'm doing my thing out in public, talking to people about real estate or about markets, anything. And man, everybody thinks the recession's coming. Everybody thinks markets are about to tank. Everybody thinks rates are going higher. Now, again, I don't doubt that the market could pull back some because it is still relatively high. The VIX is low. Buy protection. Be hedged. Be smart. I think there is going to be a VIX spike. I don't think the markets will be rallying to new highs. The reason why I say that is let's get into the SPY. Novice gap. If you zoom out, left shoulder, head complex, right shoulder, potentially head and shoulders top. You have the novice gap trap. We talked about it. If you're a home gamer and you're watching this, you just need to see one thing. Have to hold a 20-day. If we don't hold a 20-day, 50-day might become secondary support. If that doesn't hold, man, you got this trend line down here. You've got all sorts of ugliness. I mean, at this point, let me clean up a little bit of the charts. It doesn't feel bullish. Now, again, you never know what the Feds are going to do, but the market seems to have gone too fast. We talked about this, felt like a bear market rally. Like, you don't really see that kind of fast move up. You see like this, like slower, small days, chop, small days, chop. I mean, like this is normal, like little tight action. Keep in mind, all of these candles were just freaking huge. The action was quick. So when we get into the Qs, same kind of thing. I don't trust the action. Now, a lot of people might say, well, tech, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. That's how I look at it. 50-day, this is lagging. If this breaks 50-day, you can say adios. I said for a long time on the monthly, watch the 20-month. We could never close under it. This is the problem with the Qs. We've got a ceiling now. Now, again, if that breaks, you can get bullish. I struggle with this one because, again, I don't want to be too quick to call a bear market. But when you look at the Qs, they absolutely went fucking bonkers, had a lower high, then failed. This is bonkers, man. If you're not familiar with trading, this is a straight line closing end of the move. Now we're making lower highs. This is not bullish, my friend. That's why we have Apple and AMD short. We got the Qs short. How big is the trade? I mean, I guess we can back test this trend line. The hardest part right now, honestly, and this is where I think the liquidation break is going to take everything down in time. It's just everybody believes tech is the future. And again, I don't argue tech is the future, but there are times where tech just doesn't lead. And if you've never lived during those times, you've never seen what it's like. Here's another reason why we're bearish. The IWM, it is now under all the moving averages at the trend lows. Remember, it peaked first in November when the market retested highs. This thing was nowhere near it. We popped up. We tested, like, I mean, again, we got into this blue range. Had nothing. I mean, it's just, it's the weakest. Typically leads. Small caps lead. Think about why. Small caps lead, you know, the highest risk, their highest tied to the economy. Mega caps kind of have insulation from things. GLD, man, everybody is so bullish and the action just is just nowhere. I know people, I mean, people were trolling saying, hey, look, gold's going higher. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This thing can't even get over 182. It's been in a, I don't know, a $30, $40, $50 price range for weeks now. This isn't bullish. You have to get over 183 to even sniff bullishness. Because if not, this could just be a big chop range. And chop ranges, that's what I'm actually expecting. I think it's going to chop down. I think ultimately if there are liquidation breaks and the market gets freaking murdered, gold won't be safe because people don't realize is that when things get sold, all profits are taken. People have to liquidate potentially everything because they have margin calls and they will sell their winners. Even if gold is holding up, it will get liquidated short term. Doesn't necessarily mean it has to go back down to the range lows. Keep in mind we like this big cup and handle on the monthly. Just means, hey, this thing could be stuck for a couple weeks. And if you can't handle that kind of action, sell some covered calls, or I promise, like, you have to get back over this. The biggest problem I have with gold at this point is it feels very reminiscent of where was it? It was this kind of move. Where was it? It wasn't. This was the gap and trap. Where was it? It was, what year was it? I apologize. Let's just go back and together. Oh, this kind of action here, where it got really choppy. Let me draw it kind of to reminisce of what was going on then. We just got in this like tight range and it just didn't go anywhere. And then it went. Now I'm I'm a long-term gold bull. People know me, know that's why I follow this stuff tightly. I don't think it's going lower, much lower in time. But what I could see is this lower high, another lower high, and then plop out for a couple weeks. Silver, same kind of thing. I mean, no one wants to believe it. Chopping out, making lower highs, not really lower lows, but I know this chart is dirty, but so is this action. It's just chopping. GDX, everyone's getting excited, and I'm like, hey guy, hey girl, hey friend, whatever. Hey, whatever you want to call yourself, dinosaur, cat, dog. You can't get over the 40 range. I mean, the miners typically lead. Now, big miners aren't always the leader, but the juniors are. And look at this. I've said this a bazillion times. People probably don't get this far into the video, so again, they don't get to know what's going on. The juniors, if gold was about to break out, I need to see this thing get out of this box. Like, I need to see the juniors going, and they need to be over the highs. At this point, they are just flatlining, and this can be bullish or bearish. Chop precedes the next move. Just keep that in mind. I'm not really bearish, but I'm not bullish either. I've seen metals play games and chop, and when they do, I just kind of wait, and either I'm out, hedged, or stalking. AEM. Now, this one's looking better. Keep in mind, this thing has gotten, when they joined with KL, it got really beat to shit, and I like it long term because I think there's a lot of miners that are going to be going towards the high. I think this one is a buy on dips. I mean, let me throw Newmont in there since we're talking about it. We've talked about the weekly. We're breaking out potentially. I mean, there's multiple ways to draw this. That's way too I think that's a little too steep. Anyway, this volume up here, choppy, and then retesting. Keep in mind, I mean, look, hey, maybe this is Newmont's time to go. However, I don't really trust it. I just don't. This volume on the weekly just doesn't really confirm like excitedness. Like if shorts are covering and bulls are going ape shit, the action should be going. And this last couple days is a little suspect. This is like a outside reversal, not a total one, but now you have a doji on the Friday, and look at the volume. It's just dying on the vine. Do what you think is best. That's all I can say. AG, same kind of thing. I'd like to see AG up in the mid-14s. It's just down here at the 20-day. PAAS, just hanging out, chopping up at the range highs. It's not really bullish or bearish. I mean, we can get into a few of these real quick since it is the weekend. Again, lagging hard. Barrett Gold up nearer the highs, but when you zoom out, the 200 week is going to act like resistance. We're at old fibs. It's just tough to tell. And when in doubt, watch. Place your bets accordingly. Have stops. Letter X, what do we say? This is an M pattern. To confirm my M, what have we said? Break the 20-day. It's really that simple. If it breaks the 20-day, these boxes are here for a reason. We'll be there with the net ready to catch. VALE, same kind of thing. I didn't like this like island floating reversal potential. We made a new high. We left, right shoulder, whatever, left, right combo. Broke down below the trend. Or channel back in it. I mean, you can see. Gosh, come on, friend. We need to hold this like area. And I know it looked really good for a second. But at this point, I don't suspect that you're going to get there in a straight line. Like I said, I think the channel high is coming, but there could be months where it's like this, 3 months where it went from 19 down to 16. Well, what if it's 21 to 17 and just chops a little bit? There'd be nothing wrong with it because you see this. Like, look at the monthly, and a big move takes time. The start of it chops up, and then the end of it is the major run. We'll see what happens. Again, people are saying Brazil stocks are breaking out. We shall see. I have a hard time believing the feds are just going to let materials run hot this fast. CCJ. This is getting weird. And weird meaning this action here looked like you were going to go and take out the range highs, and then you have an inside day. You know, it's one of those candle formations where, again, this is why I'm saying take profits up here. We're coming into major resistance. I always tell people sometimes the highs and the low patterns, like here's a head and shoulders, here it looked like an M. Well, maybe this is going to get just choppy sloppy at the top. That's swing trading. It's really hard to predict exactly where to get in, where is the entry. You just have to start fishing. Mosaic, we've talked about these names, potentially ripping, like head and shoulders fail. Hey, again, I am wrong. If you were a bull, which I am bullish this stuff long term, it's very simple. Just hold that 71. You can see that line right there. It was resistance, and then it was support today. That's your line in the sand. Again, I'm a bull. I have bullish tendencies here, but if the market gets liquidated, this could be a weekly, like an outside reversal on the monthly potentially, or some sort of longer time frame. CF, very simple. You got to close over 110 just to call it a round number. At this point, just be aware, these names have been on fire. This is an on fire move. I'm not a fan of on fire moves ultimately going insane, because 30 to 110, I like this action. I think it actually has more potential long term, but what I would like is a pullback. These candles induce selling at some point. And again, if the Feds try to push for tightness in the sense that to get the market to kind of pull back the inverted yield curve, I think commodities are going to be in some pain. Speaking of pain, AMD, my favorite short. I mean, it literally, like, sometimes you just wish they're this easy. Got into 125 and then done. If it breaks 100, and I know there's people on StockTwits who love to just be permabulls, you got to be careful, because if we break all these levels, I mean, I don't even know what ultimately is the range low here that could happen. I would think, and again, because we use, I'd like to let the trades play out. I would say 80. I've said this before. I thought high 70s, 80 would be, support, because that's the volume at price zone. But I also know that this stock has a personality. It can go from up high to back down to nothing. Up high, back down to nothing. The 20-month is right there. Could the trend be in play? But I'm working with profits, so I don't have to overthink this. Again, I've taken some off, and I'm waiting for the rest to see what happens. If it breaks, I can always add back if this breaks. But I'd prefer it to chop here and then fail. But if it just opens the door and goes, goodbye. Apple, same thing. Been shorting. What did we say? We thought we'd get up here. We had a little outside reversal, or a look above and fail. We thought always could get at 182. However, what did we say? Watch the 20, 150 day, all acting as support. We hit it. Not surprised it bounced. If you were surprised it bounced, and you haven't been paying attention. We talked about this area would be first for support. You can see it's very clear. Let me draw a little bit for my friends here. That little area. Now, here's the thing. It better hold. If not, profits are easily to worry, and when you're shorting, you're winning. The profits aren't as concerning. I would say very conservatively, I would think this area in the 160s. If that fails, you should come back down to range lows, and range lows being 150s. I hope that helps everybody see it, because again, it's not always going to be a straight line move. So if it holds here and then flops, pops, then flops, like, that's normal. If it just opens up the door and gets hammered, the market's going to have issues, and we'll talk about that when those bridges cross. When we cross those bridges, puke. MicroStrategy, we said the 100-day, they're buying more Bitcoin. Is that a good strategy? I hope they know what they're doing. 20 days the key. If it flops, it's done. Row blocks. Speaking of row flops and blocks, talked about 20-day. People are bullish on it, and it's like, I see this as a potential shoulder complex, but I also know that this thing loves to chop out. Could it get back down to the 36? Maybe. If tech is going to get wrecked, you got to be late on this one. Potentially, like, that's how I would play it. I would not be early. That's for darn sure. TSLA, what did we say? Everybody thought it was getting to 1200. It's back testing these old trend lines. This is why we draw these. It's holding here. This is not a bullish complex though, because if you break the lows, 20-day, 100-day, I mean, it opens the door for lower prices. Let's just keep it that. PENN, March Madness, not so much. If we're going lower, sorry, use your stops. UTHR, now I've put this on the radar because it has been acting well. I said the 100 and 200 day were in play. You got a double bottom, like a W here. Back tested the 20-day. Remember how I talk about chopping? Like straight line moves are great, but this allows you to like buy down here, sell some, buy down here, buy. You can leverage the trend. The straight line moves you really can't leverage because they just go higher or one direction. This is great. We talked about you could buy it here, take 20 points, get up here, you're gone. Ultimately, could it get up to this old trend line? Yeah. But again, biotech, they do their own thing. They are on their own planet. EXPI, this is so annoying because they're getting hit with a million pump pieces, but we are getting volume at the lows or at the 50-month. I believe in this company. I work for them. I know they're doing well. I know people are saying real estate's going to fall off a cliff. Has it been priced in? I know we're doing well. We're going to outbeat and execute everybody else. Let's end it with the XOP trades because we're buying drip down here in the 21, 22 range. This is interesting in the sense that it's just not dying. I can respect the high and tight pattern, hence the stops, but I am longer term ultimately very bearish on oil names because we're coming into IPO resistance. We're coming into old support resistance, the 100-month. The powers that be do not want oil to continue to rise. They're going to try to get it down. I know how this works. Will it be successful? They've been successful every time I've ever watched, but there will be a time they're wrong. So you will have stops. Just be prepared. We could be wrong. Exxon Mobil, we talked about like you had to break the 20-day. It wasn't necessarily bearish or bullish. They're doing really well. The only problem I have with this stock, again, this is where the monthly, you went on a straight line move. I know we pulled back, but we're into the volume at price zone that's going to be a pain. Can this action just be bull trapping? I mean, it did it last time. You had these nice big green candles, boom. Green candle, boom. Could this be the same thing? That's why you have to learn the personalities of stocks. Now, again, I'm not saying that Exxon Mobil is going to fail today, tomorrow. Well, it's a Saturday. It's not going to fail. But at the moment, just keep an eye on it because what it could be ultimately doing, and this is very simple, it could just go and fill the gap. And then it could be, then you will know. Like, use, this is so rudimentary, like just use this little box here. Like if you're going to be bullish, you need to get over this box, and if it's bearish, it's going to fail here. Hope that helps. Check out more of the websites and all the different content we're providing. Appreciate everybody. Look forward to talking to y'all soon.
Thanks for watching. For more trading knowledge and insight, click on the videos on the right, and also join the Discord room. Link is in the description below. If you have any questions, please stop on by the Discord room and let's chat. Thank you.